What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Max, and today you join me with the all-new BMW M2 CS. We're a bit late to the party, but apparently BMW in the Netherlands didn't have one for us sooner, so here we are. Still, look at this thing. It has some serious stance and I am very excited to drive it. It is the most hardcore version of the BMW M2, of course. I'll show you what has been upgraded compared to the regular M2 and then we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. So, the most obvious thing exterior wise is look at this front end. It has been completely sort of gutted. It's all open and aggressive. The way this thing looks standing on the street, it looks like a race car compared to regular cars, and I really like that. With all this open stuff, I mean, it's a pain if you hit a rock somewhere, but it is all more open to take in more air and also to look more aggressive, because all this black stuff from a distance kind of disappears. It's almost like it's completely open. Of course, you also have the power bulge on the bonnet, which is very nice. It sits 8 millimeters lower on revised springs and dampers. We've got these forged wheels to save some weight, and behind those we've got carbon ceramic brakes for the first time on the M2 G87, because they weren't available on the regular M2, unfortunately. And we've got Pirelli P0 rubber around it. 275s 19-inch at the front, 285 20 at the rear. I don't know what is up with these tires. It feels like the car is driving on ice the entire time. It's been quite cold, 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees, slightly damp maybe, but I don't remember the regular M2 being this tail happy, and it's just basically undrivable with traction control off when it's cold or slightly damp. And I think that's down to these tires. So Michelin Pilot Sport 4S or 5, S5 is probably the way to go. You can also get Cup 2Rs optionally, which apparently are insane on this car. I saw a comparative test on track with these Cup 2Rs where they did like a heat cycle and then did a couple of laps, and apparently it is nuts. We also have upgraded engine and transmission mounts. Transmission mounts coming directly from the M4 GT4 race car, which is very cool. Still have the lovely wide hips there, and a carbon fiber roof as well, which saves some weight. It's 44 kilos lighter than the regular M2, mainly down to the wheels, the carbon ceramic brakes, the roof, and the gorgeous boot lid, which is also made of carbon fiber with the ducktail, which is just glorious on the M2. I think I've never been a fan of the rear end of an M2, but this new diffuser for the CS combined with this ducktail, I don't know. It kind of works for me now. It's very strange. It does a lot for the car, for the look and for the presence. So as you can see, gorgeous carbon boot lid. I apologize for the fact that it is so dirty, but we came here thinking that we could wash it at the car, like the wash box thing, but it was closed for maintenance. I meant to clean it, but yeah, didn't have the time anymore. So engine wise, we've got the S58 3-liter twin turbo inline 6 with 530 horsepower, and torque is up from 600 to 650. Power stock M2 used to have 460, then went to 480, so it's 50 horsepower more than the regular M2, but 70 horsepower more than the original M2 G87, which is very nice. They also revised the software for the power steering, the traction control, the differential, and well, it's supposed to be a little bit more of a hardcore car, like a car you can drive every day but also take to a track day. I think that's kind of the CS philosophy, right? It's not a CSL, which is like hardcore, but it's a bit more hardcore, but still very drivable on the street. So carbon ceramic brakes, by the way, are optional, but I do really recommend getting those because it is not a light car. It still weighs like 1700 kilos, so it is very nice to have. I love this side profile, by the way. If you look at it, sort of looks like, I don't know, like a 1980s E30 coupe tuning car. I don't know, it's a very good vibe. I love it. M2 CS here as well on the door sills. We've got the bucket seats, which are great. I love them. I know that people complain about them being too hard and too uncomfortable, but I don't agree. The seating position is just absolutely perfect, which makes them comfortable in my mind. And we've done a lot of trips in our M3 and I love it. Center console, all in carbon fiber. No big armrest or cupboard here, so it's a little bit more hardcore. Phone charger. I like that with the carbon around it, carbon here. And then you have this massive steering wheel. It's like a hoop covered in teddy bear. So it's quite squishy. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a bit too squishy for me. It's a bit too thick and it's a bit too big. I think BMW should have a look at Porsches and just go one size down, maybe like 80% of this, 90–80%, and then lose this, make it a little bit thinner. Well, you can have the Alcantara, but it doesn't need to be this squishy. I don't get it. Okay. Start it up. Gearbox has been fiddled with as well, so you have a bit more of an urgent shift and it's a bit faster. 0 to 100 it does 3.8, which is quite quick. So M2 is DSC off and everything in Sport Plus, and then for the Autobahn we'll put the dampers in Sport, which is a little bit more comfortable, a little bit nicer. So it is an absolute hooligan, this car. I love the duality. It still feels like a normal M2, basically almost all of the time, but when you're on it, it feels so much more urgent and agile and eager to rotate. It's a bit sharper on the steering as well. Of course you have lighter wheels, which also helps, you know, lower ride height, suspension. By the way, I forgot to show you, we also have a CS logo in the door, so you can see the carbon fiber over there, and it has a logo in the carbon fiber, and then when I open the door it pulsates in red. Look at that, to warn people behind you that you have a CS. I like that, it's a cool touch. What else? M mode, sport. I also quite like the sound. It's I don't know if they change anything, but for an OPF car it sounds pretty damn good. I know that there is still a lot to gain from that, because we of course do a lot of parts for these cars, like mid pipes and down pipes and back boxes and stuff, so I know that there's a lot more in there, but it's not bad. It's not a bad sound stock, I think. It's not loud, and I don't know, it sounds a bit artificial sometimes, but that's also down to the fake sound, which takes over a lot of the experience. So compared to a regular M2 on a B road, this thing, you know what it is? It feels relatively similar to a regular M2, but it's just, everything feels a bit more sharp, a bit more direct, a bit more aggressive, without it being too much, being too, you know, over the top aggressive that you can't really drive it anymore. Launch control 3.8 is exactly what I did as well. I don't know why it didn't shift up there, but I did 3.8, so that checks out. Now I do have to say that because everything feels a bit more pointy and aggressive, you have a bit more power, you have a bit more torque, and you have those Pirellis, you do feel like you have to sort of be slightly careful on throttle mid-corner, because it is very tail happy. But the turn-in, I especially like that, because the G8X platform, you know, as standard, the front end is the best in the rear-wheel drive version, so in the M3, the regular one, and M2. If you drive an M3 X drive, so four-wheel drive, and then drive the CS, the difference is massive. It's insane because they tweaked the front suspension, and that makes it a lot more enjoyable to drive, and it's a world of difference. But with this one you already have sort of the best version of the base platform with the rear-wheel drive, so the difference is not as noticeable, I have to say. But it does feel a hell of a lot more urgent. I'll say that. It is a big difference. Especially the gearbox. So they have tweaked the shifts. And they are so quick, and you get a little bit of a hit through your bottom when you shift and through your back, which makes it very enjoyable. So top speed is just over 300 kilometers an hour. Let me just change the suspension to sport. That's almost 300 kilometers an hour. It runs up to that 300 mark quite easily. Feels super powerful. It is super powerful, and it is super fast. So I did a 707 100 to 200, which is very quick. You can see in our list where it sits. I'll also show you the stock M2 that we did, and you can see the difference. It's quite big. It's not available with the manual gearbox, which, yeah, I get that. If you want the fastest sort of track oriented car, then a manual doesn't really make sense. But it feels great. It just feels like a better version of the M2. As I said, it's not necessarily more narrow in its approach, so it's not like it's suddenly uncomfortable to drive as a daily. I've been driving it around for a week. It's great, apart from the fact that I'm going sideways everywhere, like involuntarily as well. But it just feels like a regular M2 that has been tweaked a little bit, and I love that. It just does what you want it to do and what you expect it to do. I can really feel the difference. That damper in sport, it just gives you a lot more body movement. I quite like that, because I feel like it's nice to sometimes lean on the springs a little bit and feel what the car is doing. I'm not entirely sure if they changed anything on the sound, like the exhaust, or there are some burbles there, but they are always there. Oh, oh, look at that. This is what I mean. It feels so much more urgent, and it's mainly down to that little boost in power and torque, but also that gearbox just makes it feel more alive, more eager to go, more like ready, Tasmanian devil like. I just don't really like that upshift sound that they put in the fake sound. Sounds like you dropped a turd underwater. good. Carbon ceramics, thank you. Don't even need them, he was going right anyway. Well, so top speed is like 302 I think, or 305. Great car. This is such a capable platform. I mean, we know that it can take even more than this, but this is already so impressive. This is, it feels like you're finally taking advantage of what the platform can do, right? So by, you know, lowering it, revising the springs and dampers, making it a little bit more aggressive on the turn-in, just sticks. That front end, I mean, the rear end not so much. Oopsie. So M2 CS, does it live up to the expectations? I think it does. I think it does. It's just a more sharp, more urgent and exciting version of the regular M2. It is great. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle. You can also check out this video on the right. Playlist is on the left if you want to watch another review video, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye.